Yeah, just increase their viability and their variability across all ages, shoring up their weaknesses. But we'll see if they even get to that point here, as it could be decided earlier than later. Can already see Puppy Paw going onto the wood line and sending some bills on out across the map.
Let's go and do our dance. How many is it? Only 2. But the cool thing is, like, if he immediately catches him building, then MarineLorD's going to lose a villager.
Yep. And MarineLorD is looking to go for that more forward dock position. Oh, and
okay.
Puppy Paw just not going for any shenanigans, any cheese. He's just going for some dock play himself and a barracks. We talked about it. The English, it's going to be men-at-arms.
But like, the reason he does this, by the way, is it is a gamble. It's similar to when you'd see people do a men-at-arms rush before it was refined. Like, if you remember the early days when things like Highview, I think was the one good map for it. But even on Dry Arabia, people do the English men-at-arms rush, and you were just RNGing, because if your opponent had a backward spawning gold vein with tight wood, you couldn't access their resource to deny them. Similar with this, like, you could have pulled the villagers all the way, but if MarineLorD went for that defensive dock placement we were talking about, he's already pushing out the first fishing ship. And of course, as we know, the Delhi, their fishing boats bite back.
Yep. Good proactive pull by Puppy with this Ville building the wall earlier on. It's one of the things that on these river type maps, if you're able to control the middle and not allow your opponent to cross it, well, then you don't have a worry about those deli fishing ships coming across or military ships at some point on your side of the map.
Now, keep in mind that these men-at-arms, they're going to struggle to torch in onto the dock, because as the fishing boats come out, like, you've got 3 ranged armor, but over half the damage will go through. And at the highest level, what you're going to see, and MarineLorD is very capable of this, we've seen it playing in the past, he'll just kind of start a step it, in that he'll shoot you with the fishing boats and then go back to fishing. So he won't really lose that much in terms of food gain.
Yeah, Puppy Paw already spots out the barracks now with the men-at-arms, just choosing to run on by
Coming on by. See ya.
Might have that same idea that B did earlier in the game, that just said, all right, well, I'll just go ahead and head towards your base. Turns back around, can't decide exactly where he wants to go, but the Ville gets spotted out by MarineLorD and pushes that short bow back on home.
Yeah, it's like they just kind of postured at him. It's like, and I'm going to walk in and stab them. What do you mean they have weapons? Okay, we're just coming on by, bro. Nothing to see here. The problem is now this villager, I mean, you can just chase him down. The men-at-arms can't stick on top of it. I'm pretty sure these spears could potentially kill the villager before the MAA kills them.
Yeah, maybe Puppy Paw can turn with the short bows. Yep.
Wait.
Turn with the short bows, switch on open. MarineLorD switching focus.
That was greedy, but good. Like, he forces the other villager to keep retreating, and...
No!
Oh, no.
Puppy Paw used to the town center probably being spawning on the north side. I think we focused in on that game earlier on and mentioned that. And decides to bring more Vills for the pull, as those short bows can effectively snipe out spears.
Yes, this is Puppy Paw reaching a point where he doesn't feel strong as he should be. Like, he built that dock. I'm not sure how many fishing boats in he is, but, like, you know, when you build men-at-arms and they're not having an impact, you need to come over the top. Problem is, if he gets too close to these fishing boats, he's just going to die to them, right? So his goal is probably going to be outpost into outpost. So you get one up and then you just get a second. If you ever get assaulted, you can always just safely garrison inside.
MarineLorD doubling down on the barracks, doubling down on the spearman, knows that he needs to stop this push from coming in. He saw the villagers being pulled earlier on, and just how you said, we're probably going to see this little bit of an outpost creep.
Every once in a while, shoot someone in the face, get back to work.
Yep. The spearman number is always going to be a little bit higher than the men-at-arms number, just due to the cost, and now especially with the second barracks. But those men-at-arms are tankier, not quite as efficient on the damage, though.
Yeah, it's like, you can get enough spears together that this can be really problematic for Puppy Paw. Like, it's more cost efficient, right? And you've definitely got the food to afford it, you got the production, but the crawling begins, and, well, Puppy Paw... You can tell that the English economy is in shambles when all these poor people have to have multiple jobs. Not only are they workers, they are also warriors, as MarineLorD's going to find out.
Men-at-arms being pulled just in range of some of those fishing boats, and good old outpost gets denied or canceled.
Yeah, he can just like reset and do it again, though. It's like, okay, well done. Woohoo! So annoying.
This time cancels it before the torches come in, so he is able to get his full resources back. Remember, Puppy still has his fishing behind this, so he's fine. The top graph doesn't show Delhi's fishing boats as eco. I think it shows as military. So that's where a little bit skewed on the graph up top. But just think about, 5 or 6 being swapped on differently. That being said, PuppyPaw has been taking these trades more efficiently, but just still losing out as far as he has 6 villagers that aren't gathering resources.
That's true, but like if he does get this outpost up, then you just can't fish it because he'll drop another outpost. I think there's room between the racks and the dock. So someone that MarineLorD is fully aware of, he doesn't want to give that territory over because at that stage, your only option is to run to your opponent's side. Problem with that is PuppyPaw already prepped for this. He built up a palisade wall.
Look at how many men-at-arms are still alive compared to the spearman number. You can't forget that this is a double barrack spearman play.
And what do you do against this? Like that's my concern. Like MarineLorD, I can't remember. We're still in Dark Age, right? Like, ideally you'd be going towards a TOV, but he's so stretched in terms of the amount of spears he needs, and the other time in his fishing boats, he's still not ready to tech up.
Yeah, and you can't forget either that Puppy sent 1 men-at-arms to the gold. So he did just delay a little bit of that gold. During that fight, we actually saw the men-at-arms run towards the town center, so that means it definitely was attacking some vills or probably forced some vills back away. Doc's starting to be torched down, and MarineLorD just now going up. Dome of the Faith, 8 villagers on top of it.
He needs it immediately. He's just at such a disadvantage up against PuppyPaw, and there we go. Should be a pull. Once the garrison comes in, this could easily be 2 fishing boats going down. We'll be able to get 1. And now remember, there's a space where you can just move in and drop another outpost here. And if that space that I think is the one I'm looking at is actually accessible, like MarineLorD has no fish he can gather.
Yeah, and you can tell Puppy's just kind of playing it slow and methodically, though. He wants to get some stone, so he'll get some outpost upgrades, burn down the barracks, burn down some of this proxy production, might upgrade an outpost, but then we'll probably drop an outpost exactly where this barracks disappears.
Yeah. He's like, I think there actually wasn't space for the outpost, so he's like, I'll just make space. This is problematic because the cool thing you now do if you're PuppyPaw is like you can just keep a few men-at-arms near that outpost. You've just teched up so you have arrow slits. Like, make no mistake about it. MarineLorD is about to become full land eco. He has no say in it.
Yeah. One thing MarineLorD is proactively doing, those spears that have circled around are going towards the southern sacred site to have some nice proactive walls for him. Might be a spot he can sneak out a scholar and just get long-term gold generation in early.
Yeah, and because he went for Dome of Faith, he can afford to lose scholars on these attempts, right? And because he's playing up against men-at-arms and the longbow follow-up, it means that PuppyPaw doesn't have the dynamic force that you get from horsemen to be everywhere at once.
Yeah. Still, though, now we're seeing the longbow swapped. We're seeing spears swapped over to as well. So this is the typical English we know and we are used to seeing. But with 10 extra men-at-arms already out and eco behind it, this is really scary for MarineLorD.
Yeah, and those baby arms are about to become boy arms. The upgrade is coming through a very cheap and efficient upgrade, right? Like, some people see this as a disadvantage, but if you think about it, it's actually not. Because you can't access the spearmen early and you get them as a feudal tier unit, all you're essentially doing is paying the same price as your spearmen upgrade on any other civ, but for the men-at-arms instead.
Oh, the fishing's starting to run out. I think he might have just gone closer to the closer to that outpost range.
I mean, at this stage, like, it's not just the outpost. Yeah, but it's not just the outpost now. It's the longbows. He knows it's over. GG will be cooled. PuppyPaw claws it back with game 2.
Yeah, Puppy realized he didn't even need to build an additional outpost. It was only the ones that he had upgraded, fully denied all of that investment from MarineLorD, and MarineLorD just knew there was going to be no way back into that game.
Yeah, it's the arrow slits giving the extra 1 tile range, right? Really kind of screws with you. Used to be, if I recall correctly, an extra tile range on top of that, where it was truly absurd. Yep. So, yeah, just imagine those days in this situation. It might have even ended up being a 7-minute GG.
You're forgetting a couple of the other tower nerfs. I think they used to be cheaper. They used to build faster.
To have more health. Yep, like,
more health. There's a bunch of others. They used to be a lot more OP. But one of the things people be like, well, it was just the fishing that got denied. What you can't forget either, MarineLorD had 0 military, or maybe 3 spearmen, compared to PuppyPaw's 10 men-at-arms that are going to get boosted up, and then he's going to have those longbows, which is the main English strength behind it. There was really no way for MarineLorD to come back into that. Puppy had fishing eco himself.